realistically with GeoBlue, the design of their insurance is going to be more so from a medical perspective. When you guys go to Italy,
Correct.
Your healthcare plan works real well here in the United States. Not so well when it comes over to Italy.
The GeoBlue has an app.
It does.
And it's a comprehensive app. And it will literally show you on the app
Yes.
where you are and where the closest facility is that you can actually go and get an x-ray.
Or you can call them.
Or you can call them.
And
That's
they'll
correct.
actually help you get from A to B if
Yeah.
that happens to be the case.
It's a really, really comprehensive product. And we love these acronyms. It's called CFAR, cancel for any reason.
Yep. And that stuff does happen because you have an idea what you want to go, where you want to be, and you probably have prepaid for everything.
That's right. That's right.
And it's non-refundable. So what do you do in that situation? We're live.
Welcome. Episode 10 of the Brad and Mike Show.
Number 10, dude. Double digits. How about that?
How about that? We made it to 10 episodes. That's kind of cool. Yeah.
Very cool.
And so this episode is travel insurance.
Ooh, travel. And we're not talking like basketball travel, like,
No, like in the NBA when you can just stroll down the court, it seems.
Yeah, pretty much you can in the NBA. Not, well, a little bit in college, but
yeah, they call it sometimes.
high school game calls it more.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Yes, I love to see them do that traveling, that penalty, as we say.
Turnover.
Yeah, it's a turnover.
Yeah.
Anyhow, that being said, travel insurance. I mean, so actually I have a trip planned this year, and we are looking into travel insurance for myself and my wife. We're going to go overseas, and you have to be cognizant of, God, what happens if you're scrambling up the steps somewhere? Say you're in Rome and you're walking up the Spanish steps and you slip or fall, or you're coming down and you take a tumble down the Spanish steps, which would be a bad thing.
Very bad.
It would be bad. But there's enough bleeding, there's enough people there that probably someone would be there to catch you.
But in all different languages. Ooh, hi,
Yeah,
wait,
yeah,
oh, no.
true.
Are you
True.
okay?
But that being said, what happens if you hurt yourself? What happens if you hurt yourself and you're on a trip somewhere?
That can be a really bad thing.
Yeah. But the other side of the coin is, what happens if you book this trip and you've got your flight booked, you've got your hotels booked, you've got tours booked. Maybe you're going to do a Viking riverboat cruise. You're spending all this money and then something happens and you can't go.
That'd be very bad.
That would be bad.
That'd be very bad.
So there are carriers out there who will cover these contingencies. Let's just say you've got that dream golf vacation to St. Andrews.
You're going to hit the old shillelagh, yeah?
That's right. I keep thinking Billy Baloo, Billy.
Hey, Billy.
But, if you're going to bring your own clubs, what happens if they lose your clubs?
Oh, that stuff does happen.
And it does. And these kind of things, or if you've got a fishing trip planned somewhere and you want to bring your own fly rod or whatever the case may be.
Those can be a couple $100. They lose those.
They can be way more expensive than that. You ever been to an Orvis store before?
Yes.
I assure you.
They have commas in their numbers.
They do. They do have commas. Trust me, if you shop at Orvis, there are commas.
Yes.
That being said, these carriers will help you offset that risk.
Absolutely.
And that's why we're talking about it today. On our website,
www.bradandmike.com.
www.bradandmike.com. We've got a section under there, under medical. There's travel insurance. We have two main carriers.
They are characters.
Carriers that we like to deal with. We've got GeoBlue, which is a Blue Cross product, and we've got IMG. And
International.
They serve kind of different purposes. They do cross over a little bit, but they're designed for two different things.
Yep.
And so that being said, let's talk about GeoBlue first.
Okay. So realistically with GeoBlue, I mean, obviously they have the moniker for the Blue Cross. Most people usually, whether it's Anthem or Blue Cross Blue Shield, people are familiar with that. And so the design of their insurance is going to be more so from a medical perspective. So,
That's correct.
So kind of like international medical. So if you go over, when you guys go to Italy, your healthcare plan works real well here in the United States. Not so well when it comes over to Italy. So if you do take that spill down the Spanish stairs and you do hit
Spanish steps,
and hit you
Spanish
noggin on the bottom line.
Well, so we're going to be hiking the Cinque Terre between the 5 towns on the Ligurian coast. And I'm going to tell you now, I've watched some videos. There's some elevation, and there's a ton of steps. There's opportunity to slip, turn an ankle. I mean, you could. I mean, knock on wood, it's not going to happen to me and my wife, but it could. You never know. I mean, you've got to be careful, and that's why these products are important.
Basically, along those lines, something happens. How well would you think that your major medical plan that you have here in the United States would work for you over there in Italy if something were to happen?
Well, so in that sense, and let's just say it's something innocuous as rolling an ankle, but you can't die, you can't get around, and you're like, did I sprain it really bad or did I break
it? Yeah,
and believe me, that's the first thing you're gonna pop through your head. Oh my God, did I break my ankle? Hopefully it's just a bad sprain. Well, you're gonna have to go get it X-rayed.
Yeah,
right.
Where are you gonna go?
Well, where are you gonna go? So the GeoBlue has an app.
It does,
and it's a comprehensive app, and it will literally show you on the app where you are. Of course, you have to turn on the settings that allows it to track you.
Yes.
But where you are and where the closest facility is that you can actually go and get an X-ray.
Or you can call them.
And
they'll actually help you get from A to B if that happens to be the case.
It's a really, really comprehensive product for injuries, which, let's face it, that's, I think in people's minds, that's what they're thinking. But look, we had an associate once who did an Alaska cruise, and when he was on the cruise, he got COVID.
Yeah. Yep.
And he got COVID, and he had to hole up for 7 days.
Yes, he did.
He missed like the
fun part.
Yeah, the fun part, right? And he was holed up in a hotel room.
Yeah.
And he had some insurance, and he was able to get reimbursed.
Yep.
Again, these are things that people typically don't think about, but when they do, they think injury. But hey, a catastrophic illness could hit you at any time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it could be a heart attack. It could be a stroke.
Indeed it is.
Very many different types of things do happen. It's not like somebody has it planned out. Wait a minute, I'm going to Italy 2 weeks later, then I can have my stroke or heart attack. That doesn't happen. So the reality of that is it could be injury, could be illness. But along those lines, what happens when it does happen in an area that you're unfamiliar with their actual healthcare system? I mean, that's a huge issue, and that's an extra, weight on everything else. I mean, not only is it the other part of it too, is I know your wife is from Italy, so she has at least the language on her side. What if you were in a country that, like Vietnam, where neither of you spoke Vietnamese and that type of stuff? How would you get around?
Yeah.
And that's one of the types of things that these plans do, is that they help out so very much with that, to make sure that you're able to get the right type of care that you need. Now, on the other side of stuff, it could be such a bad situation where you might be in the middle of nowhere. You might decide that, your lifelong dream was to take a trip to the Outback, or it could be that you wanted to go on a safari or something like that. And something happens to you, and how do you get from A to B? Yeah. How do you get evacuated? How do you get med flighted? What happens if the type of facility might not be the best facility, and you're like, well, geez, I want to make sure that I'm taken care of. Well, in a lot of cases, if you're in other countries and you're going for services right away, they want you to pay up front.
That's right.
So where's that money going to come from? You give me $20,000 and we'll fix your ankle.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's not quite that bad. That seems a little bit like a shakedown, but hopefully it's not like that. All that being said, you illustrate a good point. The idea behind having travel insurance is so that you can prepare for the risk.
Yes.
And the unforeseen risk that something like this might happen. Invariably, you hopefully will go through your whole vacation, your trip, the trip of a lifetime, whatever the case may be, without any issue whatsoever. Knowing in the back of your head, God forbid something does happen, you know what? I'm covered. That's why we encourage people to go to our website.
Yes.
If you go to www.bradmike.com and you search on there, you can sift through this and at your convenience, which is why we designed the site the way we did.
Oh, yeah.
We designed it this way so that, look, you could be sitting on a Saturday afternoon with your feet up and a cold beverage in your hand and say, you know what, I want to look this up. Go to our website. You could do that.
Well, not only that, but it could be that they're listening to this actual podcast and it's Friday. And
you are listening to our podcast, aren't you? You better be.
Like and subscribe. Yeah. But at the same time, you could actually be someplace where I'm leaving on Sunday. And they're just hearing this, and what we're saying to them makes a lot of sense. They're like,
right.
well, what do I do?
What do I do?
Well,
Yeah.
you don't need, when you go to our website, you can do everything from cradle to grave. You
right.
can put
That's
all
right.
the information
That's
in,
right.
look at the plans. You can even put it all into place. So meaning that you can actually book it directly on our website. You don't have to send us your name, your email, wait for us to get back
We're
to
not
you.
going to have you fill a form out so that we'll call you back. We're not going to do that. We want to put this control in your hands.
Yep. So definitely go to the website for that. So
the other side of the coin is I'm booking the trip of a lifetime and I'm spending $30,000. Now that really would be the trip of a lifetime. But some people do. They spend that kind of money. What if a week before something happens and you can't make the trip or you got to postpone it? What happens then?
well, that's the other part of it too. What happens if something medically occurs to you prior to that? Like I said before,
Or maybe it
unplanned.
occurs to a family member. Maybe a parent gets sick, or a sibling, or your spouse, whatever the case may be, or a child. Therein lies where IMG comes in very, very strongly.
Yeah, because you can have basically cancellation for any reason on this. So basically, it can help with the reimbursement of everything that you paid for. There's also,
and we love these acronyms. It's called CFAR.
CFAR.
Cancel for any reason. I know it makes total sense, right?
We talked about insurance. Acronyms all
in
the
the
way.
insurance world, there are
lot.
acronyms galore, and this is one of them. CFAR, cancel for any reason.
Yep. And that stuff does happen because you might be a planner. You may have had this planned out. You might have been like, we're doing just like what you guys were saying. I mean, you know, you have all A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Every day's planned out. You have an idea what you want to go, where you want to be, and you probably have prepaid for everything.
That's right. That's right.
And it's non-refundable. So what do you do in that situation? Oh, my gosh, something happened.
We've already booked our train tickets on the Bernina Express. We want to go up into the Swiss Alps, and we want to check all that out. And you have to buy your ticket ahead of time. Or if you're going to go to Milan and you want to see the Last Supper, you better book that months in advance. Otherwise, you're not going to see the Last Supper.
It'll be a different supper.
If you think you're going to go there, that's right. If you think you're going to show up that day and get a ticket, you are not.
No,
you are not. Yeah. So those things, when you book that and you pay your hard-earned money for this stuff, you want to again. So people say, well, I'm just going to roll the dice. Roll the dice. Yeah, roll the dice. The thing with rolling the dice is you could win and you can lose.
Well, there's a game called Craps. Pretty famous game that's out there.
Yep. So
Crapped
again,
out.
the idea behind this all is that we can allow you to offset that risk at your convenience on our website, www.bradandmike.com. And I know it's the third time I've said it, but it bears mentioning. We want you to go and check out the website because we have so many different things, not just travel insurance, identity protection, legal plans, all these things. But today we're talking specifically about travel insurance. So if you are thinking about traveling, if you're going to go on a trip this year, even if you're going to go domestically and you're not sure that your insurance is going to cover you, if you happen to be...
Well, here it might be the thing. You might have an HMO, and you might be on an Alaskan cruise.
That's
so
right.
what's going to happen in that type of
Or you're going to take a
situation?
cruise in the Caribbean or whatever. Did you say Caribbean or Caribbean?
It depends on whom I'm around. So what are you saying right now?
I'm just saying. I'm saying Caribbean, but that's so.
And then I'm going to go Caribbean just to be antagonistic
just like Jack
on you.
Sparrow, right? Right. So, all that being said, again, go to the website or give us a call, 734-259-6750. Again, 734-259-6750.
Yep. And you know what? I do want to bring up one other portion as far as in the travel medical. So you may get an assignment where you're actually going for a long period of time.
We didn't touch on expats either.
Yeah. So you might have to go to a different country. Your assignment might be there for 3 years. Or at the same time, you may have family members that are coming here from another country. So if you have family that's going to visit you for an extended period of time, that's another portion that you have as far as with the travel medical plans. Because the reality is that their health insurance from wherever country they're coming from doesn't work here for them.
That's correct.
So spin that, or at the same time, you having to go to a different country, spin that as well to say, you're going to be here for a long period of time. Or you may do a lot of traveling throughout the course of a year. Maybe your job requires you to go overseas for numerous different types of work. Well, if that happens to be the case, that's where these different types of travel medical plans can have their advantages. So along those lines, I mean, kind of going back to Brad, go to our website, but also feel free to give us a call, 734-259-6750. If you have questions specifically about any of the plans, we're here to help you.
Yeah, and we'll walk you through it. We'll get you on the computer while we're talking with you, and we'll walk through it step by step with you. So,
Yep.
That being said, thank you for tuning in. Again, subscribe and like. Episode 10 of the Brad and Mike
We are
Show.
10. Guess what? Soon we'll be at 100, but that'll be 90 more away, right?
Well, that's quite right. Your math is spot on there, Michael.
For once.
All
so,
right.
well, thanks. Thank you, Brad. Great
Thank you,
podcast here. And along those lines, tune in for our next episode, episode 11.
Have a good day.